If I'm going for anybody to have a big game when it matters the most, I'm going with Jalen Brunson. The NBA Finals for the Larry O'Brien, the New York Knicks versus the San Antonio Spurs. And this one, you know what? I'm conflicted. Because at the beginning of the playoffs, because everything I've said, I'm hitting my playoff predictions right now. I'm hitting at like a 90% clip. Everything I'm saying is happening. I'm on a generational run right now. But I said from the beginning of these playoffs and even into the regular season, the San Antonio Spurs were my team to come out of the Western Conference. And I hate saying that because I know what the Spurs have done to the Phoenix Suns historically over time. And I honestly kind of hate the Spurs. But it also shows how much I also kind of hate the Thunder for me to cheer for the Spurs.
One sec.
This kind of shows you the situation I'm in. It's not an easy situation. What I predicted happened. Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'll say this, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a really, really, really good team. I may hate on them, but, you know, I'm hating because, for one, beat the Suns, and for two, they are a flopping team. I think you're not being real with yourself if you're not saying those guys don't flop a lot. Like, they flop all the time. You're not a real basketball fan if you can't sit there and say, yeah, they do. We all played basketball in our lives, at least some of us did, and if there's always that one kid, he gets bumped and flops his head back, you don't want to be that guy. But dang it, sometimes those guys get away with it. I picked the Spurs. I was rooting for the Spurs against the Thunder, but the Thunder are a really good team. They missed J-Dub and AJ Mitchell. That can change something in that series. I think the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're going to be running the Western Conference for a long time. At least until something else changes in the West. I don't really see anybody else at these two franchises level, right? In terms of depth, in terms of the quality of players they have, in terms of the stars that they have, the Thunder and Spurs might be the next greatest NBA rivalry in today's modern NBA. But on the other side, we got the New York Knicks. And I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't rocking with the Knicks from the get-go. I thought the Boston Celtics were gonna come through the East because Jason Tatum just got back. You know, I thought the Celtics were gonna run through the East and make it to the NBA Finals because the Celtics, look at them. They're probably the most best structured team, one of the most best structured teams in the Eastern Conference. You know, they didn't get the job done. Obviously, Jason Tatum sat out the last couple of games, you know, and it's no big deal. I don't think the Celtics are really sweating this season too much, especially with Jason Tatum. But once the Celtics went out, on record again, go back, check it out. I picked the New York Knicks to come out of the East. I think they were the next best team, and, you know, they're legit. They've been beating the crap out of whoever comes in their way out in the Eastern Conference. Just what they just did to the Cleveland Cavaliers deserves war crimes, and they don't need to go file something against them on behalf of the Cleveland Cavaliers because the Cleveland Cavaliers just allowed war crimes against them. And I'm not making light of war crimes. I'm just saying it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. James Harden, no show. Obviously, told you all about that. Caught a little hate on it, but it is what it is. But I'll say this. The Cleveland Cavaliers ain't winning nothing as long as James Harden's on that team. And I'm not saying this is all James Harden's fault, but if you're looking at him to carry your team to an NBA championship, he's not that guy. He's probably a third option at this point on a team. He just needs to hop on a team. He can't have all of his hands in the pot. Like he can't have all the dictation of what's going on. But Donovan Mitchell, I'll cut some slack for Donovan Mitchell. He tried his best. But everyone else is kind of looking at him like, hey, dude, you go ahead. We're just going to hang out. We're just going to let Josh Hart drop 30 on him. You know, I don't know what the heck that was. But the New York Knicks, they ran through the East. So now here's what it comes down to. The New York Knicks versus San Antonio Spurs. What's going to happen here? And again, like I said, originally I always said, hey, I think whoever wins out of the Spurs and the Thunder is going to win the NBA championship. And right now, I'm not so sure about that. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this a lot. My boy Zacchaeus, he was saying he thinks the Knicks could do it. And, you know, this is about maybe a month ago. And I was like, nah. I've thought about it. I've watched them. The Knicks match up really well with the San Antonio Spurs. I don't think the Knicks are as deep. I think they have the three horsemen that people aren't going to be looking at as much. They have Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby. Three very, very dynamic players who can play the shooting guard and can play the forward. Even two of them, all three of them can play the power forward, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they start OG on Victor Wembanyama and let Karl Anthony Towns go guard somebody else. Three players I am going to be looking at in this series to see how they're impacting the game and if they show up. If all three of those guys show up, I think that's going to be enough for the New York Knicks to win the series. Are the New York Knicks my pick? That's not what I'm saying. I haven't got to that part yet, right? Because obviously the Spurs, they have Victor Wembanyama, the freak. This guy, we've never seen anyone like him. He can shoot, he can score around the rim, and he protects the paint, right? And those are things that he really thrived on against the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? But who is he guarding? He's guarding Isaiah Hartenstein. They're not Space and Isaiah Hartenstein always out into the corner, right? Hartenstein's at that dunker slot, 15, 20 feet on the baseline. Karl Anthony Towns, he's going to be stretching the floor out, so Wemby can't be as impactful around the rim, and I think that's something to really consider when we think about this series. The New York Knicks style of play and how they operate is almost perfect to neutralize the dynamic player of Victor Wembanyama, because Cat is probably the best shooting big man in the NBA. He truly is. People are saying he's the best ever. No, Dirk Nowitzki, and I won't take that disrespect. How Cat plays, his game is perfectly set up to neutralize Victor Wembanyama, at least on the defensive side, which allows Bridges, OG, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Jordan Clarkson, Tyler Cork, whoever else is in the game, Deuce McBride. It allows them to open the paint up. It gives them more space. Because when you watch the San Antonio Spurs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, or just any Spurs game at any point, it is hard to score when all you're shooting is jump shots, because you don't want to go attack Wemby at the rim, because you know it's going to happen. He's going to pack it up. He's sending it the other way, right? And then defensively, with Wemby, the Knicks have multiple guys they can throw at him. If Mitchell Robinson comes back and he plays, he's hurt right now, but if he comes back, they can do the Isaiah Hartenstein treatment on him. Or they have Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby. They can all throw at him. That are all long, strong defenders that can send a different look, much like what teams have done, or like what the Thunder did with Alex Caruso. So as I sit here, I sit here and I wonder who's going to win this series. Talking to you right now, I still have no idea, because the Spurs, they still got De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Luke Cornett, maybe the greatest shot blocker in NBA history, right? Keldon Johnson, Carter Bryant coming in playing some defense, Champagnie. Like they are a really, really good team, and they are deeper than the New York Knicks. They are deeper than New York Knicks, and they have Victor Wembanyama. Then I think who's the best player in this series? And everyone's gonna say Wemby, Wemby, Wemby. And I'm not disagreeing with that, but let's tweak that a little bit. Who's the most clutch player in this series? And I think that's Jalen Brunson. If a game is close at the end of the game, I trust Jalen Brunson than I trust probably 99% of the NBA. I trust Jalen Brunson more. And in this series specifically, if you think Wemby's the most clutch, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. Or even De'Aaron Fox, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. But if I had to pick anybody from this series to trust in crunch time, I'm going to Jalen Brunson. If I'm going for anybody to have a big game when it matters the most, I'm going with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is that guy. I'm not saying he's not the guy who's averaging 35 in a season. It just seems like when New York needs him the most, he always shows up. He always hits the shots. He'll always have the big performance. He does the little things to win. Same with Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Villanova boys. Maybe it's that Villanova connection. I don't know, but I think I trust Jalen Brunson the most. So we have that factor with the best players, Victor Wembanyama. I think, here's my prediction. Drum roll, please. I am picking the New York Knicks to beat the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals. I said it. I wanted to say the Spurs, but I said the Knicks, and I'm going to stand on that. I think the Knicks are the hotter team. They've been beating everybody, and the Knicks need to take advantage of this moment right now. Who knows when they'll get back in this position. If the Knicks didn't make the finals this year, I bet you Cat was gone. I bet you Mikal was gone. I bet you Josh Hart was gone. I bet you they would have taken calls for Jalen Brunson. Who knows if the Knicks are going to make it back here. New York wants it. They haven't won one since '73. I think the Spurs maybe not quite ready yet. They're a younger team, less experienced overall, but I think the Spurs are going to have more opportunities to win coming down the road. But I think this year in 2026, the 2025-2026 season, I'm going to New York Knicks, and they're going to win in 6. I'm going Knicks in 6. They're going to win in the Garden. Game 6 is going to be at the Garden. And when they win the NBA Finals, New York is going to turn into Gotham. I saw somebody say that online. It is going to be absolute chaos. And you know what? I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm going for Mikal because he's a former Valley boy. But I'll tell you what, this is a fun series as a basketball fan and just a sports fan in general. 2 ethical playing teams. No floppers. I mean, they got floppers still. You know what I'm saying. I'm going Knicks in 6. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you don't agree. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. If not, it is what it is. You're going to find me anyway. Knicks in 6. Let's go.